Hello there, welcome to Bryan Lomax Movie Talk and a patron requested review for the 2007 film The Orphanage, which is directed by J.A. Bayona, who would go on to make Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom of all films. Yeah, probably the least, my least favourite film on his CV, to be honest. But yeah, he's gone on to big things as far as Hollywood is concerned, and with good reason. Talented director. So this film was requested, or this review was requested, I should say, by Jordan Moran, who is a member of my channel. He was a patron, he kind of became a member instead. Either way, yeah, he been a good supporter of this channel for a long time now. This review's been a long time coming, quite frankly. It's taken a while to get there. Sorry, Jordan, but we're here. This is one of those films where I'd only seen it once before coming back to it again for this review, so my memory was quite hazy on it. There was a couple of things I remember, and that was it, really. I remember that the ending had a bit of a dark twist that was quite depressing, and I remember a bit with some old lady who gets run over and something to do with a messy jaw. For whatever reason, that's what stuck in my head. Now, my recollections were that I weren't that creeped out by it or scared by it or anything, but that it was a nice little thriller. There was a kind of a jump moment, the jaw scene, and that was probably about it. But beyond that, it was just a nice kind of character-driven ghost story about a woman trying to get back her son, her adopted son. And yeah, I gotta say, this time around, watching it again, and I don't know if it's just because this time around I come at it being a father, having had kids. As is often the case, I've stated this before in reviews on my channel, certain movies change depending on what stage you are at in your life. But I feel like the emotional journey of the main character in this woman, this mother, hit me a lot harder than it did way back when. I still really liked the film way back when it first came out. I mean, it's a 2007 film, but it actually came out in the UK in 2008. So that's when I saw it. It impacted me, but like I say, the bits I remembered were those kind of shock value moments. I remember the ending being depressing and the messy jaw stuff. This time around, there's a lot more in there that really speaks to me, that kind of impacts me. Like most notably, obviously, everything that this woman is going through. The choices she has to make when everyone is telling her that, no, this is all in your head, or this isn't real, or these psychics that are around are fake. They're just pulling your leg. She has to make the choice to continue down that avenue and to say, no, I know what I saw and I'm willing to go the whole way to get to the end of the journey, to find my son. I mean, that's the question really, is how far would you go to get back your loved one? And obviously this is a film about the woman making the choice to go as far as it possibly takes. It's not revelatory. It's not something we haven't seen 100 times before or won't again in regards to the choice that a character has to make. It's a common narrative. It's stories are retold and retold and retold, and there's a reason for that. There are certain things in this life that we need to be retold again and again and again that bring us some sense of comfort, I guess. And as a parent, you would like to think that, like this woman, you would go the whole way. You would go that extra mile and more to get back your son. So yeah, it's like I say, this boy, this adopted boy, he sees these kids. So it's a former orphanage where they've moved to. His mum, his adoptive mum, she went to that orphanage as a child. And then just after she was adopted, the orphanage closed down. As an adult, she's bought this orphanage because of the childhood memories, the fun she had there, and she wants to obviously kind of give that to other children. She wants to get a small group of orphan children together and give them the same kind of experience she had growing up there, I guess, and which is quite nice in many ways, because often when you see films about orphanages and things, that's not the vibe they go for. Is that, you know, it was a place where you could have fun and a sense of family, and that. This kid, the adopted kid, he starts seeing ghosts. He starts seeing children that no one else is seeing, and then it gets a bit weird. The parents are like, does this kid need seeing a professional or what? And then the kid disappears. And that's when the mother has to kind of accept that maybe her son was telling the truth. Maybe there are ghosts in this place. And if so, who are they? What do they want? And how does she get her son back? So that's the conceit, that's the story. And like I say, I really bought into the central character, her journey, the choices she has to make. I identified with them, not because I've lost my son, but, you know, if you're a parent, you can imagine that. And just like I say, she's a good example of who I would like to be in this situation. I would like to think I would make the kind of choices that she makes. Now, it's not a perfect film. There are certain things that are a little bit niggly, really. They're like kind of, you could say they're nitpicks, but it's just certain things that kind of stop it really being stop it being Pan's Labyrinth level. But it's still an excellent film, and I think, like I say, a few little bits that just, it's a bit like, there's one scene where she's telling her child this story about the lighthouse. She's trying to make him not be afraid, and she says that the lighthouse still works, and it's just that the light is invisible. And then she's like, but you can actually see it. Just look at. And she uses this the back of this clock, reflective surface, to kind of shine off a light onto the window, and it's just like, really, the amount of precision she would need to hit that spot at that time perfectly. It was a little bit quaint. It was a little bit too. That's nice, isn't it? Yeah. It's stuff like that, and there's a moment when they go to this cave by the sea, and they're on the way back, and the sun is kind of dropping these pebbles so that the imaginary friend that he's found there at this cave can follow them back home. And I'm just like, how many bloody pebbles has this kid got? Because I'm not kidding. He's like, drop, 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 drop. I was like, you're going to need a big sack of pebbles, dude, if you're... no, shells there, little seashells. It's like, where you get... You're not going to get all the way home with those. I'm sorry, not if you're dropping them at that rate. So it's just little things like that where if you're a filmmaker, you kind of have to think, why didn't you consider that? You know, it just, again, it makes it too quaint rather than believable. You just kind of think, I'm not buying it. And it's only it's a little moment, but it is still stuff like that takes you out of the moment. It takes you out of the reality that they're trying to create. Another moment is the said cave moment, which is when the mother allows the boy to go into the cave by himself. It's a really dark hole of a cave. Like, literally, you go in there, you disappear. You can't be seen. I don't know about you. If you have kids, maybe I personally wouldn't let I mean, how old's this kid? He's got to be 7 tops. Maybe not even that. And he's just like, yeah, just let him go into a sea cave all by himself. when you already know he's seeing things. Yeah, that felt off to me, given just how caring this mother is, and how, what lengths she's prepared to go to get him back over the course of the film. That moment just felt a bit. But obviously you need it in order to set up the conceit of what's going to happen later on in the film. So yeah, I will say also, having already seen this film, again, like I say, I saw it back in 2008, there's a lot in it that still surprised me. Like, as I was watching it, I couldn't remember a lot of the twists and turns. I remember the ending being depressing, and I couldn't quite get there. I couldn't quite remember why. I had an image in my mind of her holding the son, and that was depressing for whatever reason. And so, yeah, it was nice to go back to a film after that length of time and still be surprised by it, almost as if it was a first watch. I think there is a central theme that kind of runs throughout, just one of many, I would imagine, but certainly on this viewing, I picked up on the idea of papering over the past, covering the past, hiding things in the past, just, whether it's the kid that there's this backstory that we get with regards to the orphanage about one particular child who his mother covered over his face with a face mask to hide what he really looked like because he was deformed. And then you've got like the opening credits, in which we have this kind of visual motif of these hands pulling apart the wallpaper, pulling the wallpaper off to reveal old wallpaper, as if to say that something's been covered up. And then we have this whole storyline about something that went on at the orphanage after the central character left it. And again, that is in a sense been buried. It's been covered up. It's been hidden for many years. I feel like what this film is about is letting those things out. I think everything is better when the truth is out, when things are no longer hidden, and that's kind of where it's going. Even right down to the fact that this kid, the adopted kid, he doesn't know he's adopted. Even that piece of information is something that comes out early on in the film, which makes the kid angry because this is a piece of information that has been hidden from him. So there's a lot of secrets here, a lot of stuff that is being papered over, hidden, and that needs to come out. So if the film is about anything, it's about that. It's about truth and letting it out. Bayona does a really good job as well of making the house feel like a character. In much the same way as the Bates Motel or anything like that. It's just it feels like a presence in its own right, and yeah, the way he shoots it. There's one particularly effective sequence in which this one psychic comes in, and I swear, I'm pretty sure this is probably where Lee Wanell got his idea for Insidious from. If you think of the central character of Elise in those films, some serious parallels here. This woman comes in, she's a psychic, much like Elise. She's essentially doing the same thing. She channels and then she goes on a wander around the house, seeing things that everyone else can't see. In the other, or whatever it's called, in that film. But yeah, definitely, if you watch this film and then go and watch Insidious, you'll be sat there thinking, okay, see where you got your stuff from there. But no, it's effective. So there's this sequence where she goes in, she's doing her psychic business, and they're seeing it all on monitors, but the monitors are all green because it's night cams. And there's always something creepy about those things, just the fact that you are seeing a distorted sense of reality because, a decolorized version of reality. Everything's green. It makes it quite ominous, quite eerie, and eyes always look black, don't they? So you see this woman, and with the night cam and her eyes look black, and it's just, and she's seeing things we can't see. We're hearing things that, again, really good use of sound, the good sound design on there, just to create a sense of dread, because you can't see what's happening, yet you have to get a sense of what might be happening. And yeah, like I say, Bayona does a really good job of executing all that in a really eerie, really creepy way. That, again, like I say, I didn't remember that. If somebody had told me before coming to it for this second time, do you remember the psychic scene? I'd be like, nope, no, not at all, not at all. Whereas here, this time around, I can't see me forgetting it anytime soon. After this time around, that had a bigger impact on me, I think. And again, that there's something in that scene with regards to kids and hearing a group of kids and what might be happening there that just affected me, I guess, in a way that perhaps it didn't the first time around, for obvious reasons. There's a really great line as well from the psychic character, who I've seen in some stuff before. I recognise the actress, but I can't quite place her. But yeah, she's quite effective in the role. She's got one of those faces that she could very well be a witch for all we know. So that plays in quite nicely to the fact that, everyone else around the main character is telling her, look, these people are taking you for a ride. You could almost believe it, because this woman just looks like she could be on the dark side of the Force rather than the light. But obviously, by the time we get to the end of her sequence, we know that, no, this woman's genuine. She's trying to help. She drops a quote anyway that is something along the lines of, people say seeing is believing, when in fact it's the other way around. Believing is seeing, which I think is a really great kind of definition of faith. If you think about what faith is, that kind of sums it up perfectly, which is, believing is seeing. You have to make the choice to believe first, and that kind of reorients your view, your perception on things, so that you are then able to see the thing that you believe in. If you're waiting to see it before you believe it, then you're never going to see it. So yeah, it's a very good, I think, description of what faith is. So yeah, and kind of feeds into much of what this film is about. You see the husband character. This is a character who openly admits, he gives this charm that he's got to his wife, something that he got from his own mother, which is obviously the reason why he wears it, because he doesn't believe in it. It's like a Saint Christopher or Saint one of the saints. And he gives it to her for good luck, and she's like, well, you don't believe in that, and he's like, well, yeah, no, but you do, so you have it. So he's clearly not a person of faith. So we have that, again, one of those themes within the film that is set up through that line of dialogue about believing is seeing and seeing is believing and all that, which is which. And yeah, so we have a little moment at the end of the film with his character, where all through the film, obviously, he's not believed, and then something happens at the end of the film where he's left in this place now of, well, either that's it, end of story, or I have to start believing now in order to start seeing, and so it's a really nice moment to end on. Actually, it makes for a really good, solid ending at the film, and I think without that moment at the end, the film would have been just too depressing, quite frankly. But having that moment gives us, I think, a little bit of hope that this guy is going to get more out of life than he was getting previously through his lack of belief. So The Orphanage is a really great film. Like I say, it's not without its flaws. It's not perfect, But if you can get behind the central character, if you connect with her in the way that I did, then it's a journey worth taking, and it's full of surprises, and it goes places that you might not expect it to go, which is always nice, I think. I want to give it a 4 out of 5. But what about you? Have you seen The Orphanage? And if so, what did you think about it? Thank you, Jordan, for recommending this or requesting this particular review. As I say, it's a film that I've been meaning to revisit for such a long time, so you kind of gave me the impetus to do so. Yeah, do let us know, both me and Jordan, down in the comments section what you think about The Orphanage. Thank you for watching this video, and until next time, cracking.